Hello guys, it is me, the Ranty Wolf, and today I'm going to be doing the Jungle Book Rant Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1, I will leave a link down in the description down below. Now, let's get into this rant video. Oh yeah, before this video begins, I just wanted to say I actually did a video similar to this, but iMovie wouldn't let me censor beep the swearing, because the censor beep that I have, I got it off of iButton, and iMovie don't like each other anymore. Yeah, so sorry I can't take out the swearing. So yeah, let's get on with the rant.
2016. I liked the original, but I really didn't like this one. Yeah, I'm one out of the 9% audience and 5% critics, according to Rotten Tomatoes, that didn't like this version. My God, this version got high praise. Some people were even saying it changed movies forever. Well, that's bullshit. Although granted, I think even the 95% of critics who saw it wouldn't say that. That's a little ridiculous. I've learned that I shouldn't really trust Rotten Tomatoes that much. They put the new Star Wars movie, well, I guess it's not the new one anymore, now is it? I think it came out in 2015, I don't know, nor do I care. I think it was the 7th one? Yeah, that sounds right. I didn't like that one. It was bad fan fiction, but boy did they rate it high as hell. They've also given Captain America Civil War a 90%. And granted, it was a great movie, but boy did it not deserve a 90%. Either way, this is not a talk about Rotten Tomatoes. This is a talk about the Jungle Book 2016 movie. Milk to help me. There were a lot, and I mean a lot of problems with this movie. Maybe one day I'll go more in depth, but let me just throw out a few of the more major problems. First of all, the giant monkey, I think he was named Louis, which just made me think of Louis C.K. Kind of look alike. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Great fan of your work. Really, quite funny man. But the problem with him was he started singing during his little speech. And they did that purely because the animated version did it. They did a lot in order to try and please the fans of the animated version, even though this movie is nothing like the animated version. So make up your mind. Either make this a love letter to the people who liked the first one, or make a new fucking movie. You have this weird little combo you're trying to do with the two that does not work. Because he starts singing in the middle of it, but they made the monkey so much bigger than he was in the animated version, and so much less mobile, and more intimidating, and a bigger presence, literally and metaphorically, so that when he starts singing, it's just silly. It's not fun, it doesn't fit the character at all, it's just random and silly, and boy did I hate it.
I didn't think so. I thought King Louis was pretty good, and especially he was like big, like he's in a big orangutan type of monkey thing, and yeah, I thought King Louis' appearance looked pretty cool, and I liked the song as well. It's not one of my favorite songs, but heck, it was good.
Other problems, like when Bagheera, I think he was called, yeah, it just came out of it, but boy did they not care about mentioning the names much. Bagheera, the the panther said to Mowgli, because a lion is hunting you. A lion. Not a lion, sorry, a tiger. I really don't care about this movie enough to redo this because of mistakes like that. A tiger is hunting you. That's what Bagheera said, a tiger. At that point, which was pretty early on in the movie, I knew it was not going to be that good of a movie. Because they showed that they completely misunderstood Shere Khan's character and what Shere Khan brings to the animated version. They didn't get it. They didn't get it.
Well, I'm pretty happy that they changed Shere Khan's character. To be honest, Shere Khan looks more good that way, like more, what's the word? Fascinating that way. It gets people like, oh, this villain's pretty good. This villain is like scary to me.
Shere Khan was supposed to not just be a tiger. He was supposed to be the tiger, not just the tiger even, the king of everything. Shere Khan was the one person you didn't fuck with. And they tried to fix this later by having that little conversation between Bagheera and Baloo, where Baloo, which, by the way, can I say Eddie Murphy? Not Eddie Murphy. Put his name on the screen here because I've forgotten. Big fan of him, by the way. I hate that I'm forgetting his name right now. But he mentioned, yeah, the kid told me he's being hunted by a tiger. And then Bagheera said, not just a tiger, Shere Khan. And, Baloo was like, holy shit. And that sort of fixed it a little bit, but for them to say a tiger at fucking all, was a problem. And they showed off Shere Khan so early because they wanted Shere Khan to explain why Shere Khan was doing what Shere Khan was doing. And yes, I'm saying Shere Khan every time I refer to Shere Khan because that's how you should fucking do it. Shere Khan was always supposed to be this imposing threat over everything, over the fun parts, the sad parts, the intense parts, over everything. You always knew in the back of your head, there's fucking Shere Khan to worry about. This movie tried to do the same thing by mentioning it every few moments, but it didn't work because very early on they said the wolf pack in its entirety could have taken on Shere Khan. Sort of ruins it. Shere Khan is supposed to be the thing nothing can stop.
Just because Shere Khan is a villain doesn't mean that he's unstoppable. Alright? Not every single villain is unstoppable.
It's kind of the point. And by missing that point entirely and putting in weird things like the entire wolf pack could beat Shere Khan, I don't know why they put that in there, by the way. It didn't add anything, only took away. But putting in things like this, it just ruined all of Shere Khan. Shere Khan was not intimidating anymore, especially considering Shere Khan was already injured by man. There's fucking Shere Khan to worry about. This movie tried to do the same thing by mentioning it every few moments, but it didn't work because very early on they said the wolf pack in its entirety could have taken on Shere Khan. Sort of ruins it. Shere Khan is supposed to be the thing nothing can stop. It's kind of the point. And by missing that point entirely and putting in weird things like the entire wolf pack could beat Shere Khan, I don't know why they put that in there, by the way. It didn't add anything, only took away. But putting in things like this, it just ruined all of Shere Khan.
I didn't think it ruined his character, to be honest with you.
Shere Khan was not intimidating anymore, especially considering Shere Khan was already injured by man. Shere Khan, injured. Well, who the fuck had that bright idea? And let's go on to the red flower. The red flower, you know, fire. Oh God, fire, so destructive. Fire was there a long time before man. Forest fires were caused by lightning. Fire was, granted, humans are the ones that, you know, controlled the red flower, and they sort of got into that a little bit more when they came to fucking Louis. But everybody, they tried to play it off as though man invented the red flower or fire, and man was the only one who set fire to the forest, because that was a big thing. They showed a forest fire and how destructive that was. That's not caused by man, especially man of that era. That was far more lightning, and lightning did that a good bit. Forest fires were a natural occurrence that sort of reset the forest.
Nah. Fire is kind of man's creation a little bit, but it is true that lightning does start fires even today. You could say that it's lightably insane.
Man came in and fucked up that natural resetter. We didn't, you know, it made no sense. It made no logical sense. I know they want to make man this big change to the jungle that everybody feared. But first of all, everybody should have been fearing Shere Khan, not man. Once again, missing the point there with Shere Khan. But they could have used anything else. They could have used their weapons, their tricks, as the movie called them. But instead they focused on fire.
That's not what Jungle Book is about. Jungle Book is about a boy that has to choose his life in the jungle or his life in the village. That's what every single Jungle Book film series has been about.
Why? Why? That's a thing that happens naturally in nature, is fire. Why'd they focus on that so much? Why? And the message of the movie is be who you are and don't try to be what you're not. Not only was that hammered into your head within the first probably 3 minutes of the movie, over and over and over and fucking over again, was that shoved down your goddamn throat. Roman Reigns' build was better than this. To people who don't watch wrestling, that makes no sense. Just know that that's a big statement. Now, I've been talking pretty harshly about the movie, but honestly, all of these problems aren't that big of a deal. They really aren't. There's a few other problems in about, I didn't cover all of them, like the plot hole of Baloo getting down the mountain, and other such things like, what the fuck did they do to Ka? Well, Ka was actually okay. Strange casting. Strange all around, really. But okay. But there were a lot of other problems strewn about, but a lot of them didn't matter too much. There was still a lot of good in the movie to counterbalance it. In fact, I'd say all the problems I've talked about and the other ones I haven't so far, none of them really measure out to the good in the movie. The good in the movie was far more. It was a lot more good. Especially Baloo. Baloo was great. Once again, still can't... I fucking hate that I can't remember the name of the actor. Once again, put him up on screen. He did an amazing job. Amazing casting, an amazing performance. But I still didn't like the movie. I still really hated it. And why, might you ask, did I hate it? Because of Mowgli.
And of course, Mowgli gets the blame. Mowgli! Mowgli! What is it, Grey Brother? Mowgli! Lord Falco said they hated the Jungle Book because of you. You gotta put an end to it, Mowgli. You gotta stop it.
I hated it because of Mowgli. I hated everything to do with Mowgli. I hated the character. The character in this version, not in the book or the animated movie. In this version, I hated the character.
Don't listen to what this guy is saying. This guy is just jealous because Jungle Book 2016 is better than the animated version.
Little details, like the fact that I like the little details of you'd often see Mowgli scratched up and he'd get like new sort of gashes and stuff like that after an event, like, you know, all the monkey scratches on him once he was taken up to the top of the mountain. That was great. Never once did he fucking say ow.
That's because he probably didn't, you know, he probably didn't, you know, feel the pain, you know. It's confusing.
Fucking Baloo said ow when Bagheera just jumped on him. Just to cross. Not even as an attack. But Mowgli has all these gashes constantly throughout the bloody movie. Not once does he say ow. Little things like that. And boy, that actor. That was a terrible actor. Fucking terrible. But I don't blame him too much because, one, he's a little kid. And two, what a fucking terrible script they gave to Mowgli. Fucking awful. Just a bad character all around in this version. In the 2016 Jungle Book. And he was a center point throughout everything. I'm not saying the fucking Mowgli in the animated version was amazing, but he wasn't bad. That was the point, wasn't it? He wasn't either. He wasn't good, nor he was bad. He was just like a little train car taking you through the story, and all the other characters were the focus. By the way, the fucking mini elephant character was just glossed over. A lot was glossed over, yet this movie was still pretty fucking long. I'll put up the full runtime here. No matter what it was too fucking long for everything they glossed over. Which I'm going to get into this real quick, because I forgot to mention it, and I'm still not going to redo it for this movie. Was the Scott Pilgrim effect. You know how in Scott Pilgrim, the comic books, it was a lot longer, both plot-wise and, you know, the amount of content there was. So, all the relationships between all the characters, especially Scott and Ramona, made sense and felt genuine because it had time to develop. But in the movie, that wasn't the case. I fucking hated Ramona because it made no sense. Scott and Ramona made zero fucking sense. The only real relationship that had time to develop was between him and Knives. And this fucking movie, the 2016 version, had that same sort of effect. Baloo and Mowgli became very close, which makes sense for the story, but they just gloss over it. They give a small little montage of them becoming friends that maybe takes up like 5 minutes, and that's about it. Fucking really? That was a huge, major problem. But back to Mowgli. Just hated him. And going through everything with, once again, the Mowgli in the animated version was a train car that just took you through the plot, took you through all the old characters, and was just somebody that you could put yourself onto. It was kind of like Bella from the fucking Twilight movies, but done right. But in this version, he was an annoying little shit.
Do you know what else is annoying? Listening to your rant.
That's all he was. And after the movie finished, I looked at it and I realized, you know what? Mowgli's script and character was terrible, but it wouldn't have been as bad if it wasn't for the acting. But I can't blame the actor because it's a little fucking kid surrounded by green screen constantly. He was the only, you know, actual person standing there. Everything else was CGI. No fucking weirder way to say that. CGI. Fucking hell. But he was the only one, so I don't blame him at all for doing a bad performance. But I realized if everything else is CGI and everything else is green screen and none of it looks convincing, that like, oh, that's real, but it's all stylized. You know, everything is like that, so it fits in, except for fucking Mowgli. And the question I had at the end of the fucking movie, why isn't he CGI? Oh, because if he was CGI, it would have just made sense to make it all animated. And that already exists, and the animated version is better.
No, it isn't. Jungle Book 2016 is more better than Jungle Book the animated version. Jungle Book 2016 has more and more story than the animated version does, and that's what makes the Jungle Book 2016 version much better. We see what happens when Mowgli leaves the jungle, and also that animated Jungle Book had a rubbish sequel.
Going into this movie, I wanted the movie to prove me wrong. I thought it would be bad because it has no reason to exist, and the small changes it would make in order to exist would only serve to make it worse. And for the most part, I was right. Because once again, there's a lot of good in the movie. A lot of good, and it outweighs a lot of the problems, except for fucking Mowgli as shit. The main guy. The guys in every fucking scene is terrible. And of course, they messed up the whole Shere Khan, which, boy, did that suck. So, coming out of the movie, it didn't surprise me at all. It was shit because the small changes it made from the animated version in order to exist only served to make the movie worse. That's why this movie sucks, and I don't understand the critics. Not after this. Not after this. So the Jungle Book 2016, you can go and fuck off, because you know what I'm going to do? You know what I wanted to do throughout a lot of the movie? I want to pop in the original animated version on VHS. So I'm gonna go do that. Bye, everybody.
Okay, guys, that was Lord Falco's Jungle Book 2016 rant. And, do you know what, Falco? Screw you too, because if you like the animated version of the Jungle Book, that's fine. But you need to keep your opinions to your goddamn self.